Nurturing Relationships The Art of Caring and Sharing by Swami Nikhilesh 4. Manure or fertilizer. Just as organic manure or fertilizer is necessary for the healthy growth of a plant, so is the case with a growing relationship. The manure in this case are various virtues such as humility, humble, service attitude, care, etc. Even in a relationship with the staff, like a maid servant or a driver, this assumes significance. The concept of servant leadership, popularized by Robert Greenleaf, has been successfully followed by great leaders of our nation for the last 5000 years. The latest example being that of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who got the inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was invited by us in February 2002 to inaugurate a school building in Porbandar. He was not yet president then, but Bharat Ratna he already was. I found him full of humility. He was very polite with the servants who served him lunch. He meditated deeply in the room where Swami Vivekananda had stayed for 4 months while in Porbandar. In his speech to the students that day, he disclosed what inspired him as a student. In 1947, he was in 8th standard and was monitor of his school. On 14th August midnight, all the students were told to keep themselves awake to listen to the Independence Day speeches, which he did. The next day in the newspapers, he saw 2 photographs. The first was showing Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru hosting the national flag on Red Fort. Next to it was the photograph of Gandhiji, who was moving around in Kolkata, wiping the tears of the people affected by riots. Dr. Kalam said that the second photograph was his school education, his college education, and his life education. He was very much impressed by the spirit of sacrifice of Gandhiji, who led the freedom movement and yet did not accept any position after independence, but went on serving this afflicted. After 3 months of his visit to Porbandar, Dr. Kalam was nominated as the President of India. His message then was, "The nation above the individual." In my first meeting with him after he became the President, I found him still so humble and unassuming. When I handed over a packet of cashew nuts, a packet of books of Swami Vivekananda, a VCD based on his speech at Porbandar, and audio cassettes, he exclaimed, "Oh Swamiji, you have brought so many things." I said, "What can I bring for you? I am a beggar, a fakir from Sudampuri. What can I offer to an emperor?" He smiled and said, "Swamiji, we both are servants of same emperor." This indeed is true humility and simplicity, and no wonder he is so popular with everyone, including children. 5. Control of weeds. Just as weeds affect the growth of a plant, relationships are affected by the greed for money, power, and position. Ours has become a highly consumerist society. Suicide have increased recently even in India, but still it is 9 per 1 lakh in India compared to 45 in USA and 60 in Russia. Mental disorders and divorces are on the increase even in India. Affluence in USA has resulted in breakup of relationships. This has led too many children growing with a single parent and they aim for love. In India too, without formal divorce, there are many strained couples staying together, but with hardly any relationship between them. Removal of weeds of greed requires sacrifice on the part of the both parties and judicious sharing of property and position. 6. Pest control. As worms eat up the plants, likewise jealousy, anger, etc. affects the relationships. Just as pest control is necessary to keep out the worms, so also prayer, holy association, etc. are necessary for cleansing the heart. Many young boys who love someone find it unbearable to see their girlfriends being friendly with anyone else. Out of sheer jealousy, here I remember an incident. One day, when I was in my ashram office, a young boy suddenly came in a very agitated state and gave me a knife which he wanted to surrender to me. On my questioning, he confessed that he was deeply in love with a girl for whom he would have done anything. Then one day he saw this girl moving on the pillion of a scooter with his best friend. He just could not tolerate this. He was upset and angry and wanted to kill both of them. With this intention, he took a knife from his house and was in his way. En route, he came to the ashram of Ramakrishna Mission, and some inner voice told him to go inside. He went to the temple, and in a few minutes he calmed down and returned home, giving up the idea of killing. During the next few days, again he got into the revengeful mood and was again calmed down with his visit to the Rajkot Ashram temple. When the same urge came for the fourth time, he came to me and surrendered the knife, saying that the holy vibrations of the temple had calmed down his mind. 7. Water. Just as water is the most essential for the growth of a plant, a relationship also requires water for nurturing. This water is called love. Deepak Chopra says that parenting consists only of love and more love. Stephen Conway in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and Eric Fromm in his book Art of Loving also stress the importance of love in nurturing relationships. But the water should be sweet, not salty. When I was in Porbandar, I found that despite regular watering, the plants would perish as the water there was salty. Therefore, for the growth of a plant, just as a sweet water is essential, so also for nurturing a healthy relationship, the love has to be unselfish. Selfish love, like salty water, will ruin a relationship. Love is divine, but when it is mixed with selfishness, it becomes attachment or infatuation, resulting in failure in relationship. Without sacrifice or renunciation, love will not grow. Service and sacrifice always go in hand. Relationship will grow to the extent one can sacrifice, as love grows directly in proportion to the sacrifice.